First comes a rock, what's it gonna be? Rock, paper, scissors, and a 1, 2, 3.
Nichijou, or Nichijou as I've accidentally been calling it for years, has been one of the greatest animes I've ever had the privilege to watch. Originally, when I first picked it up about a couple years ago, it was all in Japanese. I didn't understand a thing because they hadn't translated it yet, so I was stuck watching subtitles, and because of that, I only ended up watching till the 3rd episode before getting bored. But up until recently, I found this really dodgy website that allows you to watch every single episode in English absolutely free, which is a bit strange, although I've had an absolutely amazing experience going back and watching the entire thing in a language I understand. From its subtle and uniquely told narrative, its strange yet hilarious comedy, its outstanding presentation, and its incredible set of characters, I've been hooked from start to finish, and by the end, I was already going back to rewatch individual episodes because of how entertaining they were. It's been quite a while, but I've been disengaged with any kind of media despite its main focus just trying to make you laugh, because it's a comedy. In this video, I just want to share my own thoughts on Nichijou and show my appreciation the only real way I know how. I'll be talking about the manga, the anime, the creator, what it does well, and why I personally like it. You may be wondering to yourself, what the hell is Nichijou? Well, I'm glad you asked. Nichijou is a slice-of-life comedy following the everyday lives of the people from the Japanese town called Tsukidame, specifically the school students and their strange antics.
I am a victim of domestic violence!
Originally started as a manga series in 2007, written and illustrated by the creator Kayachi Arai, a man that I've had a hard time researching because everything's in Japanese, and I have no idea what's going on with his YouTube channel. Although nevertheless, he did a pretty good job on the manga. It expanded across 10 books until 2011, where it was turned into a 26-episode anime by Kyoto Animation, often featuring segments from Arai's other set of work, Helvetica Standard, with mid-episode minisodes and frequent references throughout the series. Each episode is split into 5 or 6 smaller parts. Each part has its own little story and more times than not, a joke or some form of comedy to go with it. One moment you could be watching Toast, and another, a guy getting shot in the head. Nichijou has quite a few characters considering the show could use literally anyone from the entire town, so I'm gonna do my best to give you a rundown on the important ones. Okay, you've got Yuko, a brain-dead and easygoing person who inspires to be a frill-necked lizard in the future. There's Mio, an aspiring manga artist who would literally go as far as to assault police officers in order to keep her 18+ drawing safe, despite her being 16, but cool, you know? And Mia, a quiet and intelligent person who has like 2 lines of dialogue in the entire anime, and to be expected, she's good at everything. And we're not done. There's actually a second group of main characters that I didn't tell you about. Meet the residents of the Shinonome household. Hakase, a child inventor who has no parents for some inexplicable reason. She's got no parents. Nano, a robot Hakase built for no real reason other than to just have a friend. Also, her arm can do this. So that's cool. And my man Sakamoto, already the greatest character because he's a talking cat. And that's really all you need to impress me. Now these characters don't do too much either. There's some interaction between these groups, although other than that, they lead pretty ordinary lives. And you may be thinking to yourself, where the hell is all the entertainment value if they live such boring lives? Well, one of the things Nichijou does well is exaggerating these boring and small things well out of proportion and making it really entertaining to watch. For instance, there's a scene where Yuko's eating lunch and the squid falls out of her tongs and falls towards the floor. And normally in those shows that would happen and there would be a really sad scene, but nope, they keep it going for another 1.5 minutes where she literally goes Super Saiyan trying to keep it off the ground, despite it literally going for this guy's really cool mohawk. Along with that, the humor at times can be very random, like, oh no, my arm just flew off and killed someone and didn't see that coming, which sounds like lazy writing, but I just love it because it's so unexpected. Yuko, Mia, and Maya's bits have more of a focus on stuff that happens around the school, often having to deal with homework, assignments, and whatever else can be turned into comedy that can somehow relate to the audience. While the Shinonome household represents the sillier, more unconventional side of the humor, with Hakase constantly annoying Nana with numerous features that she had pre-installed, and of course Sakamoto getting the blame for everything despite him being the victim of multiple assassination attempts from Hakase. Although these dumb funnies aren't without their more narrative-driven sections, there's always a good chance in these scenes to give you some perspective into the lives of their somewhat unconventional family. Whether that's just cooking meals, going shopping, or bullying Sakamoto, Nichijou does a great job of creating these wholesome moments that are just really fun to watch for whatever reason. It's through these bits where the show focuses more towards the slice of life stuff, where characters are developed to feel more like actual people compared to them just being there to deliver a joke, and it's also a good chance to learn a little bit more about said characters. Nano, for instance, just wants to be a normal person and lead a normal life, although can't because of all the wacky contraptions Hakase installed onto her. Notably, the massive key on her back and the machine gun she takes to school every day. Wait, for most of the characters, there's some sort of underlying narrative, whether that's just their dreams and ambitions, some kind of romance thing, or at least something cool about them, which mind you is handled well for a show that's all about comedy. Besides, if you ever get bored of the stuff that holds actual significance, you got the funny side characters, and boy do we have a few. My favorite is a science teacher named Nakamura, who keeps trying to kidnap Nano so she can do all her weird science things to her because she's a robot, but she's really bad and ends up murdering this guy and getting away with it. We find out that not only is Nakamura a wanted criminal, but the only other real teacher in this school is way too busy trying to get a date with this guy's sister to do anything about it, which I'm pretty certain is illegal on a lot of charges. A few episodes later, and that guy finds out the teacher has a thing for his sister, so like most people, he challenges him to a classic Japanese soccer match, where we actually find out he was Hitler the whole time. And also, this guy just turns up. I don't even know who that guy is. I wouldn't be doing Nichijou any justice if I didn't mention its incredible presentation, and when I say presentation, I'm talking about pretty much everything that doesn't have to do with writing. And the first thing that comes to mind is the animation, because god damn is this beautiful! Never have I ever seen so much time and effort being put into animating a scene more so than this one with Mio's big, beautiful face. And I know this is more technical than it is artistic, but where the hell do you get a budget for this? Because this is some quality! It's mainly the action scenes where something's getting over exaggerated that you'll get to see the animation at its best, and it's just so cool to watch. And I'd like to think that despite having the choice to do some really subpar animation that would work well with the simple slice of life stuff, they really wanted to create something amazing, and here we are. Speaking of cool stuff, I think the music's pretty neat. Most shows might get a soundtrack of around 20 to about 40 songs per season, but Nichijou has over 100 goddamn songs, and a lot more if you're willing to include remixes and individual character songs, and a lot of which are specifically designed for certain scenes. And for the most part, it's incredible. You've already got a good intro song, some dramatic stuff, and some slightly less serious music. All of which fits perfectly into whatever's happening and is really well done, but the best tracks have to be the more relaxing songs. They're perfect, and they always bring the wholesome scenes together, and whenever they come on, you better brace for something heartwarming. I really only found out about Nichijou after I found this picture of Sakamoto, and for the longest time I used it as my profile picture, and it was only until a year later when I bothered to do some actual research on him. I found out there was an entire show that I had completely no idea about. After doing some research and getting it in English, me and my brother watched for the whole series, and it was a genuinely good experience. You can really just see all the love and attention that went into it. Everything to the writing to just even the cover art was quality. And of course, it was nice to have some light-hearted entertainment every now and then. I've really just come to appreciate Nichijou. As a student myself, having to worry about final exams and growing up in general, I've just been able to relate to the characters in the story as they themselves are living similar lives. And by getting the ordinary and having it expressed for these lovable characters in a comedic, light-hearted way, Nichijou, as corny as it may sound, really just makes the world feel like a more meaningful place. Okay, that did sound a bit corny, but believe me, I mean it. I wholeheartedly mean it.